Good morning, children. Welcome back to your EVS class. Let us proceed with our lesson, A Treat for Mosquitoes. You have watched many videos and read about mosquitoes and what diseases they cause. In continuation with the lesson, today we'll listen to the conversation between the students at school.
Test. Rajat is back at school today. He had been absent for many days.
How are you now?
Asked Aarti.
I am all right.
Rajat replied softly, just quit.
You must have played a lot while you were at home.
Rajat.
Who wants to play when you have fever? On top of it, I had to take a bitter medicine. I even had a blood test.
Just quit.
A blood test? Why? It must have been very painful.
Rajat.
Actually, when the needle pricked my finger, it felt like an ant bite. They took 2 to 3 drops of blood and sent it for testing. That's how we came to know that I had malaria.
Nancy.
But you get malaria when a mosquito bites you.
Rajat.
Yes, but we find out by the blood test.
Just quit.
There are a lot of mosquitoes in my house these days. But I did not get malaria.
Nancy.
Who says that every mosquito bite causes malaria? Malaria spreads only by the disease-carrying mosquitoes.
Aarti.
All the mosquitoes look the same to me.
Rajat.
There must be some difference.
So, for a blood test, look how a pathologist is pricking with a needle and taking a sample of blood. Many of you must have experienced this at the hospital. Once the blood oozes out, it is collected through a needle. Then, this blood is smeared on a glass slide. This is a blood smear on the glass slide. Now, this slide is prepared by putting some chemicals. Depending upon the need, a thin layer is made so that this can be observed under a microscope. Remember, we learnt about the microscope in the earlier lessons too. Through the microscope, the pathologist can clearly study the structure of the blood sample. Now this slide shows a thin smear and a thick smear. The place where all these studies are done is a pathological lab, and the study is called pathology. The coming picture you will see that a pathologist is working, observing the samples through a microscope. This is the textbook picture you can find. This is the blood report of Rajat, which says he is 11 years old male and the diagnosis is fever with chills and rigors, malarial parasite found in blood sample. This is how a pathologist gives a report. This is another sample of a blood test report. You can read and find out the details, which also shows detected in the column of parasite, and P. vivax, which is malarial parasite. That means the patient has malaria. Now let's see how blood looks under a microscope. In this picture, you can see that the blood sample is showing the parasite. Can you see that dark purplish structure in between, children? That is the parasite among our blood cells, the germ that causes malaria. And this is a normal blood sample where there is no parasite. These are different types of cells that are found in blood, like red blood cells or RBC and WBC or white blood cells. I hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you, children. We'll meet in the next class.